So I'm going to talk about how to do particles in Scratch. So first I'm going to delete the default cat sprite. I'm going to click Add Sprite, Draw. Next I'm going to go to Circle. I'm just going to make a black circle and center it. I also want it to be a little bit smaller. And this is the base of the particle. Next, we're going to say when green flag clicked, forever. And this is not necessarily about the particle part of this, but this is so that it's more visually interesting. We're going to say go to mouse pointer. So now it just follows the mouse pointer. Next, we're going to add the actual particle effect. We're going to say when green flag clicked, forever, create clone of myself. So now it's just doing this, and it's creating these clones, right, whenever I tap it. So next, we want to make the clone have the particle effect. So when I start as a clone, to make it more random looking, we can say point in direction, and we're going to go to operators. We're going to say pick random. We're going to say 5 to 500, and then we're going to say move 10 steps. So now it's just filling up this circle over time as more of the clones do it and take 10 steps in every direction from that dot that where the mouse pointer is. But we want to do more than 10 steps. Let's say 50 steps. So now it goes there. But we don't want it to be a perfect circle because that's not very random looking. So I'm going to say, I'm going to have another operator, pick random. The last one was 50 steps, and that was good. So we can say 40 to, say, 100 steps. So now it looks like this. Now it fills up this whole circle area, but it's also pretty random. Next, we want the clones to delete themselves after a bit, so you don't run out of clones. So we're going to say, wait, I'm just going to say 3 seconds, and then delete this clone. So now it does this. As it starts to fill up, some of the clones start to delete themselves. So there's always going to be about the same amount of clones in this circle. Next, I'm going to add a gravity effect. And all that is a when I start as clone, forever, change Y by 10. So now it just does this. But that now it's having gravity towards the top. We want to say minus 10. So now they all fell. But that's not all we want, because while that is cool, it's all piling up in this one area. So we actually want it to be minus 1 or so while it is moving these steps. So what we're going to do is we're going to disable this, and we're going to say when I start as clone, we're going to take this forever loop and put it there. We're going to say we're going to put this here, and instead of a forever loop, we want to have it a certain amount of time so we can stop. Let's just say 10 to start. We want to say move somewhere between, say, 10 and 25 steps, and change Y by 1. So now that's what it does. That's still spreading out into a circle because changing Y by 1, if you look closely, they are falling very slowly, but that's not as slow as their steps are. So say if we do it minus 10, they're generally going higher than it is. So we want to say something like minus 25 for a gravity effect, but then they're just staying there. We still need that delete this clone. So now it does this. And that's pretty good, but they're going pretty fast. So you also want to add a wait there. Not too long, not 3 seconds, but say 0.1. So now it does that. And that's 0.1 delay between the taking steps, changing Y. That sort of gives it a sort of slow falling effect. You could also just say, like, instead of saying 10 to 25, you could say 5 to 12.5 and say change Y by minus 12.5. So now that is a smoother motion and it's slower. It's half as fast as last time. But then you see they're disappearing before they hit the ground. If we say put it in the very corner, they're disappearing before they hit the ground. So that means we just want to play this loop, say more times, and probably take more steps. So something like 7 to 14 steps, say. So now they're going farther. We also want to add an effect that is when I start as clone, and we're going to go to motion, if on edge, bounce. But we want it to be in a forever loop, so it's not just when it starts, but it's while it's being a clone before it deletes. If it's touching the edge, it's going to bounce. So that's a simple particle effect. If you also want to add more randomizing effects, things like size or maybe color, I'm about to go through that now. So now I'm going to try to add a color effect. We're going to say when I start as a clone, that's in control, we're going to add a forever loop because we want it to be constantly changing color. We're going to go to looks, scroll down to change color effect. 25 is going to be too much. It's just going to look white. So I'm just going to say by 1 to start. But to have any color, it must have, it can't have 0 brightness. So let's just give it, just make it red. So now it does this. It turns into a rainbow as it is falling. But because it's deleting itself, it's only getting to green. If we wanted to do the whole spectrum, we need to make it change colors faster. So let's say if we do it by 2, do we reach? Not really. We're only getting to blue, which still looks cool. But let's say green. Let's say 3. That's even better, I think, because you get all of the rainbow. So that is my simple tutorial on how to make a particle effect in Scratch 3.